just like you and Casa made his mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. And Serena came back and just lit a fucking fire under his ass and just kind of got it out. And then Cordell kind of owned up to his mistake. And it was almost like maybe the reunion was Kayla's opportunity to kind of stand up for herself. Because I feel like that's where she got a lot of criticism, where it was like, you know, people called her a pushover and people like, oh, you're stupid for taking him back and shit like that. And it was almost like her opportunity for redemption.
Yeah. Me and like Kayla are like similar in like a lot of ways. Like I would never, if I was ever like upset with someone, I'd always just want to take a beat, take a step back, and then have like a discussion with it like later on once I've like gathered my thoughts, and that's what she did. Obviously, that doesn't make great TV. Like it doesn't. That's just like from your guys' perspective, like looking in, it just looks like she let me off straight away. She had a conversation, but on the inside, you know, we had a couple of days where we just didn't speak at all, and like she just needed her space and her time. And I think there's a conversation where she's like, I don't want space and time. It's like, but you needed the space and time to like gather your thoughts, so we could have that conversation. And then coming on the outside world, obviously the way that the online world has like seen her, it's like, but like then she kind of like needed to come back and kind of do that redemption and have that sort of, I don't know how to describe it, but basically just her like standing up for herself.
Yeah.
So I think the way that she dealt with it was the best way like possible for her, and I'm still like happy with her. I've got nothing against her whatsoever. Like I wish her all the best. I'm like still care for her at the end of the day. So
I mean, probably a little raw to answer this question now, but you know, they always say time heals all wounds, and like I haven't talked to Kayla since we had a chance to speak with her, but you know, it was clear that she was super into you. You know, really liked you, and once, you know, you guys are still going through it, you know, you come out of the villa, you guys deal with the internet, then you have this reunion, you get bombarded, but like, there seems to still be a lot of love there despite the hurt, and they always say like the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference, and Kayla certainly isn't indifferent about you. She's just obviously very upset. Do you think there's a world where like, if there's healing down the road that you guys might stay in touch or reconnect, or are you think it's healthier to just move on?
to answer the like question, like truthfully, like I don't know. Like I have no idea like what the future lies. There will probably be a day that once Kayla's like moved past it and she's healed from it and she's happy again, and that she'll probably want to reach out and, you know, just have like kind of one like final conversation and just like speak about things. But at the same time, like I don't know, and I don't want to hold her to having to have that conversation either. Like if she wants to, then I'm like open to having that conversation. But equally, like the way that it finished at the reunion, like I'm also like happy with the way that she dealt with it. So I don't have any animosity towards her.
But would you be hopeful for another chance if there was an opportunity? Just from your point of view.
I'm honestly not, like right now I don't think I'm in a situation where I can like answer that question. Like, I don't know.
What did you learn from this whole experience now that the dust is settling?
Just that firstly I need to be like more accountable about my like situations and then like I deal with things. Secondly, just to be like, I'm a very person that's like preserved with my feelings and how I feel. I think I'm quite like touchy-feely person in the way that I express myself, and that's kind of like how I show love. But I also think that for other people, just for a reassurance standpoint of view, like I need to be more open. I need to tell people how I feel in that moment, not hold back. And that just comes from like a place from the past where like I've just been like hurt before and I just don't want to go through down that road again. I don't want to put myself in that situation again. So I think like moving forward, I actually have to realise that no, if I do feel a certain way, I should just say it. Because there's a lot of times in the show where like I felt like saying something, but I just couldn't bring myself to doing it because I didn't want to put myself in that situation where I was going to get hurt again.
Like what do you mean? Like do you remember a time? Like what would you have wanted to say?
I mean, there was a situation, even like pre-Casa Amor, where we both kind of knew that we wanted to like close things off, and we both kind of knew how we felt for each other, but I never came to her and told that, and I think she also feels the same way. Whereas if we would have done that, we would have had a lot healthier relationship, like further along. And I was just stupid for it. It was really stupid for it.
But I mean, obviously, I think the challenge that you guys were in is, I think everyone had a different perspective of what Casa Amor meant. You know, because even that, like, I think most people don't fault you for even what happened in Casa more. It was more like the difference between how Cordell went about it and how you went about it after Casa more, where it was like, he was like, fuck it, man, like I did X, Y, and Z. And it just seemed like Kaylor kind of had, you seemed really resistant to wanting to just say it. Do you think that was more a fear of what Kaylor would think of what happened, or was it just more audience's reactions?
I didn't want to hurt her. And in the past, like when I've been cheated on before, like when I like found out that she'd done it, I almost didn't want to know the full story. So she just told me, look, I've slept with this person. And for me, I was just like, I don't want to know anymore. Like that's as simple as that. Just draw the line there. Like I don't know the place, the time, any location, the fine details, anything like that at all. And my mistake going into it was I should have asked Kayla straight up, like, how much do you want to know on this? And rather I just applied how I would want to deal with things, thinking that that's how she would want to like know. And that's where like I messed up as well. I should have literally just said to her, how much of this do you want to know? And gone from there. Because in the end, it became less about like the actions and more about like the smaller details and stuff that she was hurt by. And then obviously when like movie night came up, she didn't realize how much of like a romantic connection that I had with Daniela, whereas I should have told her absolutely everything from the get-go. But even in that situation, I was just like, as I was speaking to her, she was just hurting so bad. I was just like, my reaction to it was like, I've been in this situation before. I don't want to know anymore. Let's just leave it there. So I should have just said everything to her there.
Okay. I have on concealer, blush, eyebrow gel, eyeshadow, lipstick, no foundation, just and powder. So 6 products. Concealer, eyebrow gel, eyeshadow, lipstick, powder. Oh, and mascara. No foundation. And like it looks, wow. Skincare pays off. Skincare pays off. Like when you're consistent with it, I love like my skin. I just feel like my skin really absorbs everything that I put onto it really nicely, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, listen, like it's obviously you're going through it right now, and like I can feel your energy, and I don't even know you. I want to give you a hug. But hopefully, like this will be like just a down. You know, as someone who knows what it's like to be in your shoes and have like the weight of what feels like the world coming down on you, and
also I want to thank
like it seems
anyone
like
that may have gifted.
Like a really
if I
tough
see it,
but
I'm
valuable
sorry.
lesson. Because, like you said, like why people love shows like this is because, well, A, it's fun to watch, but really what they do is they see themselves, or they see their exes, or they see their partners and you guys, and they kind of compare, you know, their situations to you guys, right? And so when they watch it, you know, it's a very relatable feeling what you just described, to say, well, this is how I would have handled it if I were in that situation, and I just handled it that way because, you know, that's what I would have done, and I didn't realize that the person I was talking to, like, isn't me, and I should have asked that. Like, you know, it sounds simple in theory, but, like, often we have to learn through really tough lessons, and so maybe this will just be that tough lesson for you.
Yeah.
I think it's also incredibly human of you to just to react that way, and you know, I think there's a whole different element because she is going to eventually like watch everything back, and to have everyone around her be like, well, we've already seen this and you haven't, I think was that like added harder element to it. But I think it's incredibly human of you to be like, this is how I would have done it, so I just went about it this way, and it might have been the wrong way, but this is all I knew how to do it. I think it's human of you.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. I should have just been more expressive with how, like, firstly how I felt, and I should have just spoken a lot more, because we were like in such a good place. Like we were in like a honeymoon like period. Like we just were having so much fun every single day that when it got to that point where we were just going through this like really difficult time, it's almost like I didn't want to take away what we had before and like replace it with that situation where we were both like, where Kayla was hurting so bad, and in turn then I was hurting because I was hurting her. And yeah, it was very difficult. It was difficult.
I kind of had this thought in theory as someone who's watched reality TV in a while. So your first time on reality TV was Traders, right? Mm-hmm. And you won. Congratulations, by the way. It's a great show. And my first time on reality TV was The Bachelor, right? And so, like, I didn't know shit when I went on. You know, I was like, okay, let's do this show. It's like this kind of, but every show kind of has their culture in a way. You know, you go in there and, you know, it's like right reasons for The Bachelor. Make sure you're there for the right reasons and shit. So even though, like, a lot of everyone, listen, you don't go on reality TV unless you like attention. I know people are like, oh, did you do it to be famous? Like, everyone who went on the show has an Instagram, and unless you turn off your social media, like, did you do it to be famous is, I think,